Hey, remember me? The one who wasted 11 minutes of your time last week? Sorry, I know that one was just about the graphs and how to interpret cooldowns, but it was truly a lead up to this, and this video is going to show you all about the super boosts that you get from all those different kinds of mods that you can put in your class item. That way you can stop being this guy and start being this guy. First and foremost, getting kills boosts your super. Your bar will literally get a boost every time you get a kill, immediately cutting down these times. What I was curious about was, do these scale with intellect? But the good news is there's no difference. I zoomed in on it and I measured the amount of pixels that it boosted my super, and it was identical down to the pixel. Steps 2 and 3 for me were comparing body shot kills versus headshot kills, and then different gun types. And I can confirm that getting a kill with a headshot gives you the exact same super boost as getting a kill with body shots. Similarly, getting a shotgun kill or a fusion rifle kill or a sniper kill all give the exact same boost as a regular kill with your primary, such as a hand cannon. 46 pixels, all right? And remember, I've zoomed in on my images, so if you go and do this, you might get different numbers. It's all relative to how you screenshot. One cool note from that, though, is that it actually has a bit of an inverse effect on the importance on kills. What the hell's wrong with this kid? He just told us 46 pixels each. Doesn't matter what your intellect is. That's right. If I look at the whole super bar, it's 1491 pixels. And that means for 0 intellect, it takes over 7 minutes to cover 1500 pixels to fill that bar up. So if we know how many pixels it takes to get our super, and we know that getting a kill boosts our super bar by 46 pixels every single time, no matter what your intellect is, then we can actually figure out how much time gets cut for every kill you get at every level of intellect. And for 0, the math works out to roughly 13 seconds. That's right, if you're at 0 intellect, every single kill you get cuts your super cooldown by 13 seconds from that original 7 minutes and 12 seconds. Now let's flip the coin and take a look at 10 intellect. Because we know the base remains at 46, redoing that same math gives you 7 seconds, meaning at 0 intellect, I'm cutting 13 seconds off every time I get a kill, and at 10 intellect, I'm only cutting 7 seconds off every time I get a kill. I happen to really like this because it means you can spec low in your intellect if you're an absolute fragging machine and catch up to someone who's dumping all their stats into their intellect and they just want to sit back in a corner and try and get their super to win the round that way. Now that we have a baseline of 46 pixels for all kills to go across the board, this is where the beautiful class item mods come in. So for this video, I focused on things like pump action, remote connection, hands-on, and then a little bit on distribution and dynamo. We'll start with pump action. A regular shotgun kill gave 46 pixels of boost to your super bar. You add on 1 pump action mod to your arc class item, suddenly you're gonna get 82 pixels, which is a 78% increase. That's pretty damn sweet. You put on 2 pump actions and you get a 111 pixel boost to your super bar, which is a 141% increase from the baseline 46 pixel shotgun kill and a 35% increase from the scenario of having 1 pump action equipped. This makes sense because Bungie has confirmed that stacking mods has diminishing returns. If you're a sniper main and you're wondering if those mods have the same impact, they do. So it actually was down to a T the exact same impact as pump action, which makes sense. It would be crazy if they were different. And now when we talk about a melee kill, same base, 46 pixels, but when I tossed on 1 hands-on mod, I only measured 49 pixels. Like, that was pathetic. It basically did nothing. I couldn't really believe that, so I tossed on a second one, and that one also measured at 49 pixels. I really thought this was weird, so I actually re-recorded this more than once. The first session, I got 46, 49, 49. The next session, which I did at 10 intellect, back when I was comparing if there was a difference, I got 46, 49, 49 again. I then came back 2 days later because I thought this made no sense at all, and I measured at a completely different intellect, even though I know that intellect seems to have no impact on these things. I measured it at 5 intellect on a different character, and yet again, my hands-on mods gave no real benefit. Something funky or glitched with stacking these, and I'm hopeful that someone at Bungie can see this. I'll try and send a clip to them, but having hands-on seems to be completely useless. The other thing I'll say is that it's not supposed to need your melee charged, but on the last attempt of re-recording, I made sure my melee was charged for both of my scenarios, and it gave the exact same results. So I'm not really sure why this is happening. Now, before jumping over to the movement-based super increases, just to show you, the fusion rifles are the same. Linear reactor has the same numbers, 46, 82, 111. And then piling the rest of the ones around heavy actually have different numbers numbers. They're different from these core special weapon ones. But instead of showing you all of those, because it's not like we always have heavy ammo or running around with that unless we're a hacking piece of shit, I thought I would highlight 2 in particular though, because I know some of you out there like to use a grenade launcher as a primary, or maybe the arbalist. Those ones are impacted by things like dire artillery or light conductor. They share the same base super increase when you get a kill, but if you're using mods and trying to stack them, Bungie actually made these have less of an impact. It's more like 15 to 20% for the first one. So I'm really happy to see that you can't get the same benefit on a weapon like that than you can on something like a fusion shotgun or sniper, because let's be honest, it's a heavy weapon being used in a primary or secondary slot. Same with the arbalist, 46, then actually 56 and 67. So slightly better than fighting Lion, but flipping over to the movement or ability based super mods, you can look at something like distribution. It says reduces all ability cooldowns when using your class ability. Super energy is an ability, so it is impacted by this. If you're a hunter and you use your dodge, you will get a super boost. But there's an asterisk that comes with that, which I'm going to get into in a bit. And then you have something like Dynamo that is essentially the same thing, but only for your super. Here's what the numbers look like when you look at these two. Not having distribution and using your class item is 0 boost to your super. Having one mod gives you 30, stacking it gives you 49. Dynamo on the other hand, again, 0 if you don't have it on, obviously, and then 42 and 62. So interestingly enough, it has a better base boost, which I think makes sense, but then stacking it has slightly more diminishing returns than compared to stacking distribution. Now, something worth noting is that Bungie doesn't seem to have the same diminishing return impact when you put 2 mods that have similar capabilities but aren't identical. What I mean by that is that if you put 2 distribution mods, you're very clearly going to see the diminishing return. But if you put a distribution mod with a dynamo mod, those both have impacts to your super, but you should note that the latter, which only takes 7 affinity, actually has a larger boost than double distribution. That's right, dynamo plus distribution gave me 72 compared to double dynamo, which gave me 62, and double distribution, which only gave me 49. Mind you, remember that mod also helps you with your other abilities. Now we're almost done going through the numbers, and just before we jump into the grenade based ones, I just want to let you know that later into the video, what I've done is I've normalized all of these and put them into a graph, so you can basically see one big bar chart with all of these side by side by side. It's just that that's a bit more of a zoomed out look, so I wanted to show you all the numbers first. If you look at the grenade based mods, these things are insane. Here are the numbers. Regular Ashes to Ashes goes from 46 up to 88, which is slightly better than the 82 if you look back at pump action and remote connection and whatnot. And then stacking it brings you up to 116 versus the 111. So slightly better, but enhanced Ashes to Ashes. The initial base is 121. Then if you add a second one, it gives you 150. You are more than tripling the amount of super energy you're getting if you stack enhanced Ashes to Ashes. This seemed pretty wild to me at first, but then I realized we don't actually get a lot of grenade kills relative to something like a shotgun or fusion rifle, so it actually makes sense that these would have such a massive impact. But then again, on the PvE side, if you run max discipline and you're getting a lot of grenade kills or something, I don't know, that's not really my thing. I'm more of a PvP player, but either way, this is what the numbers were, and I found it kind of neat. My first thought after recording all of these in Excel sheet was, holy shit, why am I not using my dodge one or my shield one or my rift one? My class ability happens way more than my kills, doesn't it? I'll just use that and that'll for sure overcome any amount of kill-based super boost that I could get. The catch is that, take a look at this image. You only gain super energy from these mods if you are near an enemy, and that distance is 15 meters. If some of you are still trying to figure out what that kind of looks like on some of your maps, well, here's just some super quick screenshots from a lot of the main maps where I find myself using a shield as a Titan, and in each screenshot, my opponent is 15 meters away. After looking at all of these, I kind of realized, like, shit, that's actually really close. Obviously, there are cases where you're going to have to pop a shield or a rift when you're that close to enemies. I get that. But what I'm getting at is that if my opponent is very good and I'm popping a shield there or a rift, during that animation, they can very easily close that gap and kill me. And it was likely the wrong decision at that given time. Hunters, on the other hand, it's probably a little more justified, but do remember, if you go in and you shotgun dodge really quickly, that enemy is dead, then you dodge, well, there's no enemies nearby anymore, but that's for you to decide. So here's what all these super bars look like if I stack them all on top of each other. Now, I know they're pretty zoomed out, so I had to try and fit the damn things all in one screen, and I've grouped some of them together because they have the same impacts. But even still, at the end of the day, looking at analytics like this kind of means nothing unless I can apply it to my gameplay, right? So what did I do? Well, I went and looked at my past game history history. How many kills am I getting? How many of them are shotgun? How many of them are primary? How many of them are melees? How many of them are grenades? All of these impact my decision on what I should be running. Of course, I could go with my gut, but the data is going to tell me exactly what's best for me. Now, you can do this by going to Destiny Tracker Online, and you can look at your game details exactly like this. It's a little bit cumbersome and annoying, but when you click on your match and then your name, you can see all of the kill types that you got. A little less cumbersome method is actually using Guardian.gg, where it's a little cleaner and more user-friendly and quicker. The problem is that they didn't have the Fellwinters tracked yet, so a lot of my Fellwinters shotgun kills weren't showing up. But anyways, looking at 30 games, omitting things like super kills across those games, I tallied up all of my hand cannon kills, because that's the primary that I like to use. I had 54 shotgun kills, 32 melees, and 10 grenade kills. Initially, I thought, well, damn it, this is a complete waste of time. What matters is the amount of kills I get before I get my super, because if I get kills while I'm in my super, then those aren't giving me super energy, right? But A, you can't see that kind of stuff in historical game data, and B, at the end of the day, it sort of actually doesn't really matter, because if you look at a large enough sample size and you look at how many kills you're getting with certain weapon types, the logic will remain the same, that your style of play will benefit more using certain mods compared to others. So I literally did the math and said, okay, if I had no mods at all, how much super energy in pixels would I have gained over these 30 games? And in that case, it was 7,268 pixels worth of super boost. That's sort of my baseline. If I would have just had one pump action across those games, all of a sudden I would have gained 9,212 pixels worth. That's way more super energy gain, of course, because I have 54 shotgun kills. But if you were someone who barely gets any shotgun or sniper kills and you're like, nah, bruh, all I do is use my primary, well then don't waste your time with a pump action or remote connection mod. Putting 2 pump action mods on there is over 10,000 units of super being gained. Looking at only having a hands-on mod or having 2 hands-on mods, it was just over 7,300. The part that really sucks is that if I had 1 pump action and 1 hands-on, it works out to 9,300. But can you imagine if hands-on was actually boosting your super the same amount as something like pump action or remote connection? That'd be nice, because then I would only have to use 5 affinity instead of 6 affinity. But it is what it is. Interestingly enough, just for fun, I decided to actually see what it would look like if I could have pump action and enhanced ashes to ashes. And lo and behold, that would also have broken 10,000 super units. So that's pretty sweet. Meaning if any of you guys main a fusion rifle and you want to use linear reactor with enhanced ashes to ashes, that actually could be pretty damn beneficial to yourselves. Or maybe you're a hunter and you run a billion skip nades and you get a lot of grenade kills. Well, maybe toss on a solar mod and see what enhanced ashes to ashes is like, especially because now that Bungie has nerfed the stacking ability of powerful friends, maybe your class item doesn't have to be arc if you're trying to run that, right? So holy shit, no surprise Castle takes 18,000 hours to explain some little topic like this when it all sprung from one question. What the hell's better for me? An intellect mod plus pump action or double pump action? Well, while I'm confident in my methodology to figure out what the best mod combo is, it didn't really answer this question, now did it? So let me show you how to figure something like this out very easily using a piece I mentioned near the beginning of the video. It's all relative to your level of intellect and how much time gets cut per kill. With 5 intellect, it takes 271 seconds for me to get my super. Let's assume that I get 3 shotgun kills before I get my super. And with the information that I've given you on all of these mod combos and how much super energy that they give you, aka how many pixels do they boost within that super bar, you can actually figure out how much time gets cut for all of them at every level of intellect. I'll provide you a table at the end in case you want to use it for your future reference, but in this case at 5 intellect, double pump action kill cuts 20 seconds off of my charge time. So I'm going to subtract that from the 271, giving me a total of 210 seconds for me to get my super in that scenario. Flipping over to 6 intellect, I look at my table, it shows me that my baseline is 258 seconds to get my super. With 1 pump action, I still get a solid super boost on those 3 kills, and subtracting those time cuts gives me 213 seconds. So as you can see here, as long as I'm getting 3 shotgun kills before I get my super, it's worth it for me to run double pump action instead of an intellect mod with 1 pump action. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I talk way too much. Here's a table that shows you the amount of time that's cut per kill with the mod combos written at the top. And all you ever have to do is just figure out how many kills you're getting before your super with that given weapon, multiply it by the number in this table. So for my last example, I was at 5 intellect with double pump action, giving me the 20.2 seconds that I mentioned. Whew! If you're still here, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to type, I fucking love the color orange. Now, like I said, with this kind of information, you should be able to figure out whatever the scenario is for you, but don't hesitate to ask me. Drop something in the comments, ask me any question you want. I'm happy to help you with the table or anything that you're curious about. Now it is time for me to get some shut-eye. Peace.